Hey everyone, and welcome to a special live episode of Sights on Sinnoh, or should I say, hello from Hisui, as we do a 1 week kind of recap slash impressions episode about our thoughts on Pokemon Legends Arceus. And if you are joining us live for this recording, you'll see we're over on one of our special guests' channel, Noxtric. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. I can't believe it's been a week. It's
It's
flown
really
by.
fast. It's been an insanely fast week, and about 50 of those hours have been in this game, which is both sad and also exciting because I
Yeah.
put so much time into these games or game, I should say.
Yeah, it's definitely fulfilled a bit of that open world kind of setup I think that we got. But before we go into that more, we do have one of our regular co-hosts with us, Mannie. How are you?
Doing good, and I would first like to apologize to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because I don't play you anymore. You were good to me. You were good to me for a week, but Arceus is now taking over my world. I'm sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh!
It did come out on iOS and Android today.
It
Oh.
did, but I still have dual
Yeah.
links, so
That's fair.
Just wait till we get the Legends TCG special
Oh my!
edition.
I cannot wait for that.
Oh, it's
I've
gonna
already
be
s-
like alphas for the special EX card or whatever.
I've already seen leaks. I don't want. I can't
What?
say. Yeah, it's bad. It looks so good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was playing in the PTCGO earlier because of it. I'm like, man, I gotta get ready again.
Yeah, they did announce Pogo actually doing a collab, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, again, coming back to our subject for today, we've all played through Legends Arceus at some level. Both Nox and I beat the game, and I believe, Manny, you were right after the part with Ursa Luna, correct?
yes. But
Okay.
I just finished fighting off the second noble. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I
Nice.
will say that with 19 hours in this game, the majority is just me just hunting Pokemon because I feel like Game Freak themselves were like, hey, this guy likes collecting and catching, and he likes wasting his Pokeballs without realizing how much he's wasted them. So for that, I spend. You see, this is how I start. I say, okay, I'm just gonna get some apricorns and some tumblestones, and that's it. We'll go to the story. But for some reason, you would think that after like 100 times entering Obsidian Field, I wouldn't get excited about seeing a Bidoof, but yet I still do. And I'm like, okay, I need to catch this Bidoof. I need to catch that Shinx. Like, oh my god, there's an Alpha Shinx. Let me go catch it. So, yeah, definitely been spending a lot of time just catching Pokemon and forgetting that there's a story to this and that I need to finish the story.
I feel that on so many levels because there's so many times I had to kind of like stop myself because I wanted to complete the story, right? Like I really wanted to complete the story. I was really invested and want to see what's going on. But there's so many times I was like, man, and Will knows this because I'm bad about like underground stuff like in BDSP or or just like open wild areas where it's like you can go catch all the Pokemon. Well, this game is made for me. Like
Yeah,
oh my god, I could spend I have spent what 50 hours in the game, right? I would say most of that probably actually is just catching wild Pokemon and doing
yeah,
crazy stuff.
and it's crazy because it's like 5 hours pass and it feels like it's just been like 10 or 5 minutes, and you look at the clock, it's like, oh man,
Right?
I need to get up for work. should I
Oh,
should I
yeah.
just pull in all nighter and suffer the next morning, or just go to sleep? But then I'm like, okay, you wake up at 4:30 to get to work, so definitely you need sleep.
I saw someone tweet out, they're like, I need to get sleep, and I tweeted at him, I was like, you can just go to sleep at the camp at in game. That counts, right? That counts as sleep. That
Yeah,
has to count.
yeah,
Yeah. uh, I think I've used that bed like twice, maybe. I think I'm over 30 hours in the game because there just isn't much reason, I think, to go back into your room. I'm pretty sure one of those
Oh
times I was
no.
forced to go
No,
back in.
yeah, yeah. The only because the
Mhm.
first attempt I did, it was when the sun set and it was dark. I don't
Mhm.
know if you have to wait a certain time for it to be considered nighttime, because the minute it turned night, I evolved an Eevee that was ready to evolve, and it became an Espeon. And I was there in confusion, like, wait, it's nighttime. Why is this an Espeon? So
Mm.
at my second attempt, the moon came up again, and I was like, okay, I'll wait a minute. I'll wait a minute just to see if this works. And I crossed my fingers, and I got my Umbreon, so I'm happy with that.
Nice. Congrats on
Yeah.
that. I still haven't gotten that.
And also, for anyone who's watching us live, feel free to drop any questions. We'll kind of answer them as we get through certain topics. And as a warning to anyone as well, we are going pretty much full out on spoilers here because, as you can tell, a lot of us have been spending way too much time in here and
Yes. This is-
exploring a lot in a variety of ways. So, to jump into some of those topics, let me pull them up here. And the first thing, I guess, to talk about is kind of the main story, introduction, and how we started. Because, as all of us, I'm pretty sure, are anime fans, what was
Mhm.
your first thought when you launch the game and you land in this world?
uh, Pokemon Isekai much?
Yes! Same, exactly.
You know,
Like, I would go ahead. Go ahead.
Hmm.
I kind of had like, my theory was that Laventon was from the future. Um,
Oh,
but for
that's
some
neat.
reason, I don't know why, but I'm convinced that Pokemon just proved that maybe time travels in an infinite loop. I haven't finished the game, but so I don't know if like the character stays in that time or if they go back to their timeline. But if the character does stay in their timeline, this is my theory. That means that eventually that character is gonna get old, and obviously have descendants, and somewhere along in the future they're gonna be reborn again, only to go back into time and repeat that infinite loop forever and ever.
Is this
So
like a Futurama thing? I remember like the Futurama episode where like Fry went back in time, became his own grandfather type
no, this
situation.
this was more after like watching binge watching the show Dark. I don't know if you guys seen
Oh,
the
okay.
Dark show on
Yeah,
Netflix. Yeah, so ever since then I've been like,
yeah.
yeah, okay. But it was kind of cool. Like, I think a lot of us have wondered, like, okay, why is there a cell phone in this time period? And are they gonna explain it? And we kind of did. Though it does make me wonder if like we were created by Arceus, or if it just somehow like decided to choose our character out of the millions of children that were there. So that's definitely something that I'm wondering if like we were just brought in out of nowhere, or if they were specifically chosen to be a
It,
part of this story.
it's interesting too. So like depending on what if you start with a male or a female, like the shirts are from different regions. Like the female shirt she's wearing a shirt from Alola, and then the guy shirt is wearing from Kalos, right? I think he's from Kalos.
Yes. I, that's what I've heard.
Yes. So it's kind of crazy to think about. So it's like I don't know, like what does that mean? I guess for those games, like were those actually the characters like just plucked from those universes? But they look like Dawn and Lucas, so it's like I
Yeah,
don't know. This game made me ask 1,000 more questions and I got answers for. And I was like, okay.
So what about you? Well, what were your first initial finding out that oh no, we're in a time traveling anime?
Kinda like it because to me it was like the Pokemon Company or Game Freak was giving themselves permission to just get out there and be like, hey, we're not trying to make this seem like you're just a regular person, because clearly nothing that happens in this story is normal based on who you are. If you were
No.
just a citizen of this world, it's like, no, you're here with special conditions, I guess. And immediately I'm like, okay, cool, that's why we have an ARC phone. That's why we have an advantage in this world compared to everyone else, because we know what Pokemon actually mean in a society like that functions with them and humans. So I thought that was a really neat way of doing it.
I would say one thing too, like it made me like not trying to think like too far into the future to like the next games or anything like that in a Legend series, but I am curious like how they would continue like this type of story format, right? Like is every Legends game going to be Arceus just like yeeting someone out of their timeline and placing them in some crazy alternate past or future? Because I could see them going the opposite route with it too, right? Where like they go to some like crazy dystopian future type where Pokemon are.
That would be cool.
I don't like that. That'd be neat. Like adding kind of like do the reverse of what this game is. I don't know. Like I'm super excited though for the potential like this series brings. Like I really think his Legends Arceus like opens up so many possibilities and so many different avenues for the Pokemon Company to just to go wild with like the future games.
Definitely, like that was one of like my hopes for this game, was that it would be successful, because I feel like the idea that they had about this game being set in the past just opens up the door to so many possibilities. And if they ever decide to make these like anthologies based on different regions, I would love if they would like let us know who the original Pokemon were that eventually ended up becoming the legendary dogs. I think that would be cool. To kind
that
of
would be
out
one of those.
the story.
Oh, yeah. That'd be probably one of the better stories for them to pull.
Yeah.
And they could even go as far as like pulling like I don't know if you've ever seen the beta sprites for Suicune, Entei, and Raikou, but they could even go as far as like making those original beta sprites like canon. I think that would be because they're, if you've never seen them, like I'd definitely go check them out. They're vastly different, like vastly different from whatever we got.
Yeah. So one thing I wasn't expecting was us falling out of the sky, especially from the rift, because it's high up in the mountain and we somehow land in a beach. So I wonder about the trajectory of that fall.
Yeah, I assumed Arceus really calculated that. He was like, okay, we're just gonna float him over.
And that's just me overthinking it, but yeah, it was kind of like, oh, you fell out of that rift, but I'm at the beach. I'm not at the mountain.
Yeah. And then the starter Pokemon, even the professor comments that, hey, they kind of came here randomly, almost like they expected you. Which is like, did Arceus tell the starters,
yeah, I feel like,
come greet this human?
Yeah, I do feel like that was probably what we're supposed to expect. Like Arceus chose them as well. Like it wasn't a coincidence that the professor happened to find those three, and that they kind of knew that, like, oh, this is the person we were waiting for. But yeah, I would love to hear like who your starters were.
Oh, that was super easy for me. Cyndaquil.
For me, it was Rowlet.
Yeah, same, Rowlet. But one thing I would say is like I would choose any of the three.
They are like
yeah, I think they're amazing Pokemon, but I think Rowlet is the more favorite of mine. so I went easily with Rowlet, but I could have chosen easily any of the other two.
All the designs definitely have grown on me. So like seeing all the designs, the final their final evolutions are got the new Hisui forms for Typhlosion, Decidueye, and Samurott. I will say like they've all definitely grown on me. I will say like Samurott's, oddly enough, so Samurott's shiny version is my favorite out of all of them, like hands down. His shiny one, he all of his like horns and shell parts, I guess, they're all like this like ghost white, and it looks so good. But design wise, like they all look amazing.
Definitely.
I saw Samurott for the first time, I think last night actually, and I do think it's a kind of cooler version of the original. But maybe I'm just biased here. I kind of like Decidueye's the best.
It's the most unique. Like if you look at the other two, like it's the one that went through the most like drastic change.
Right. Which is interesting because it's also the newest one.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think they would put more time into redesigning ones that have been around for a while.
Do you think maybe the design was based on popularity of overall, the three of them overall?
That's a good question, because even like the base starter, I still don't fully know the logic behind them in terms of lore for why they're the starters here.
So Samurott the samurai, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decidueye the archer, and then Typhlosion's the hard one for me. I've heard people say like he's the warrior or something, or he's the mage. Like he's very, very, very hard to nail down. But like a mage or mysticism, yes, but like a mage or something, it's not like based in this era of like Japan, which is roughly, I say roughly, nicely, I guess, based out of.
So one thing I had heard before we had even known about the new Hisuian Forms was that Typhlosion was some sort of like bomber that existed back in the time. I don't remember the specific name for it, but I think that's where they got the reason as to why, or the theory as to why Typhlosion was chosen.
I could see that.
But that, to me, I still wonder the specifics of why starters from different regions were picked. Like, I kind of get the thematic point, but I'm still very curious about like why Alola, why Johto, and why Unova were the connection here. Like, I could almost see Cyndaquil being the most logical because there's so many Pokemon in Sinnoh that connect to Johto as evolutions, pre-evolutions, so on. But the other two, I think, are a lot more loose, except for the potential role that you would see in this time period of Japan. I like, we do see one person from Alola at one point who even has Vulpix with them. Unova, I don't really know if there's a prominent character from that region here.
Unova, Ingo.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's not just like descendant Ingo. I mean, I guess we're spoiled papers, but like it's literally him, which is like.
But that's another thing. It's like one's actually from our world or setting, and then this starter is unrelated to them. Like this, like apparently they would have chosen Oshawott either way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a little more of like, hey, why didn't these people who are like used to one region or something like kind of just grab all three starters from that region? So I mean, I've only reached the very beginning of the post game, so maybe we'll get more answers later, but I just thought that was an interesting decision still in terms of the world building that we have here.
The theory, I mean, like the theory, the explanation they give, I guess, is just because Laventon traveled around a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he's so I saw someone trying to like say like who his descendants will be, and they're saying it's oh my god, Hop and I cannot believe I'm forgetting his name.
Leon?
Leon, holy crud. I
I
cannot
didn't
believe I
even
forgot
think about
Leon.
that.
But yeah, like they're like he is like their ancestor. Like
Who,
I can kind of see it.
the Basque Legion one?
No.
Oh.
Laventon, Professor
Oh,
Laventon.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting because he's got a similar skin tone and he is purple. And I'm like, oh, I can see that with Leon. Like, we never see his hair. But, and he also says jolly good, which is something we've seen people in Galar say.
It's
So,
Galar verbiage.
Right. Which, of course, mimics British verbiage IRL. But yeah, that's really interesting. I kept thinking throughout the story that he was gonna pull off that beanie and reveal to be some big villain, but that never happened. So I was like, oh, okay.
And underneath this hat is an evil Charmander, because they had to bring Charmander into the game.
Hisuian Charmander revealed.
Do you know the Pokemon community would have lost their mind if they made a Hisuian Charizard? Like I think I love Charizard. Like I guess I'm old school. Whatever. He was my first Pokemon, so like I have an attachment to Charizard. However, like I'm in agreement. Like that's too much. So we also got a Hisuian Charizard.
Manny, what were your thoughts on the professor?
Yeah, so my first theory was like, oh, okay, he's from the future. Not the main character.
Mm.
So like there's something suspicious about him. Like, why would he and especially because the way he was dressed kind of seemed off to me. Like everybody else was, from what we have seen in the trailers, everybody else was dapped in the kimono outfits, but he had a suit on. And I think, it would make sense because, you know, even back then in London, during that, whatever that time period that this game was based on, they did dress that way. But for some reason, it was just stuck in my head, okay, maybe he's from the future and he kind of knows something bad is going to happen and he's helping us to kind of prevent that from happening, maybe. But that was pretty much it, and I was kind of bummed out to like find out like, oh, my theory was wrong, he's just a regular professor. But I kind of, yeah, just like yourself, Will, I kind of hope that they give us a reasoning for why those three were picked, and maybe why it is that their typing isn't the typings that we know in present day. Like, because they don't really like talk about how our starters adapted to this environment, or were those always their original evolutions, but just through time they evolved into something else, which is the ones that we know currently in their original games.
Right, because the only weird one in this case is Cyndaquil, who has existed in Sinnoh before because we've had Gen 4, and, which came after Johto. But then we haven't, even in the remakes, we haven't had any post-Gen 4 Pokemon appear in Sinnoh.
I'm surprised they didn't pick a Kalos starter, to be honest, to kind of tie in with the two characters in a way. You know, so like I said, because they had a Kalos shirt and then a Lola shirt, like they didn't. I'm really surprised that you're saying that, like, because of the Sinjo ruins, because Johto's like literally right over the mountain, essentially, like that they didn't bring in like Fennekin. Like I think Fennekin would have been a good fit for this.
I was originally thinking of Froakie because of the Ninja Star, the water shuriken that it has, and it kind of fit.
Oh, he would.
It kind of fit with that theme of like.
He would have fit a certain character.
Yeah, Rowlet the Archer and all of that. So yeah, but Fennekin would have been cool too. I think Fennekin is an amazing Pokemon. Just don't mention Chestnut because that design,
I'm
that design. I'm
right there with you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that design.
No, they hit it out of the park twice, and then it's just like I don't know what happened with Chestnut either. I'm right there beside you.
Yeah, but like one thing I did like was them explaining why Zorua ended up getting the ghost typing, and I kind of wish they would do that with Typhlosion. Like, why did Typhlosion end up being a ghost? Like, did it die? Like, did we not take care of it properly? And
it was your fault, Mannie.
And why does Decidueye somehow got the fighting typing? And just, I think maybe like subtle explanations would be cool. I don't want like an entire story because, you know, then that would kind of be like, for me, like a bit of an overkill, but at least acknowledgement of the typings. But I definitely do like Decidueye's form. I think it's amazing. The color scheme is beautiful, and I love the fire that comes out of Typhlosion. And Samurai's pretty cool because it has that villain mustache.
So I can give you Typhlosion's Pokédex entry if you want to.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah. So it said to purify lost, forsaken souls with its flame and guide them to the afterlife. I believe its form has been influenced by the energy of the sacred mountain towering at Hisui's center.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool entry.
So I think we can move on to the next topic here, which you've already started a bit. But characters, are there any standout people, even Pokemon themselves, that you interacted with during your playthrough?
I'm tired of Paris. I don't know. I don't know what its problem is with me, but like every time Paris somehow like manages to see me, I could be hiding behind a rock and then somehow it sees me and it just comes attacking me. It's like, go away! I'm trying to catch my Goomy. Come on, get out of here.
I think that's everyone's feeling with Paris in this game. Like, I don't know what they did to Paris, but like, oh
so
my
aggro.
god.
Yeah. In
For
terms
me,
of, oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, my first outbreak was Riolu, and it is so easily agitated. It was like probably the most annoying thing to start doing for shiny hunting, because like anytime I make a movement in the grass, it instantly is like, oh, gotta go attack it, and then it sends out an ore sphere which will track me.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that is cool.
Yeah.
Even if you're crouching, it still notices you.
Well, if I crouch and like make one movement and they're looking in my direction, it'll just immediately like exclamation point, like, oh, I see someone got attack, and like, what?
It's his aura.
You know,
your aura.
One thing I like, and it's a small detail, is when you like, let's say your Pokemon's back is turned to you, and like you're trying to be stealthy and you roll into the grass, they hear it. And they turn. I don't know. I barely noticed it yesterday, but it's a small detail, but I like it so much, that the fact that it's not like they're oblivious, like they actually can hear you trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, they're very perceptive, actually. And in terms of people, I think we beat a lot of characters, but I wish we spent more time with them. Like, some of the wardens that you meet at the beginning of the game, you don't see at all until the very end. So
I would say we spent a lot of time, I feel like, though. Like, with a lot of a lot of the characters, at least compared to like a traditional Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
So like a traditional, normal Pokemon game, like we get to spend some time with the professor. We get to spend most of the time we get with extra characters are the rivals. Cynthia has a lot of presence. Leon has a lot of presence. Um, the most, the only game I can think of that has so much character involvement was either the Black and White series and sort of Alola. And I say that loosely because like it's still a little bit more the professor than normal, but like this game, like the professor's like right by our side, like the entire trip essentially. Like he always comes out with
Yeah.
us. I don't know. I do agree. There's a few characters like I would have liked more interaction with, like more dialogue, like but you do get some of that in the post game in a little bit of the way, which I won't spoil too much about that. But like, you get a little bit more involvement with, especially 3 characters in particular, and then an additional 3 set, which I think you'd kind of guess who those are, like they call themselves sisters. They're not sisters, but those the bandits,
Right.
the Hisuian Team Rocket.
Misfortune?
Yeah, the Misfortunes bandits.
Yes, the Misfortunes.
Which is great, actually. I kind of love that.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
I will say, besides the clan leaders, they're probably the most interesting of the people that were just part of Hisui.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to me, is where, in particular, I think it's a bit lacking, that we don't see a lot of the society that exists in Hisui before, like, what was life for them before all these people from the Galactic Organization or Galaxy Organization came in, and what are they as people outside of their jobs as wardens, is what I would have loved to learn more about.
Yeah, and in terms of characters, I think his name is Volo. That guy's pretty sus. I don't know why.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you. Someone agrees.
Hashtag justice for Volo.
I get vibes from that guy. I don't know why. There's just something about him. It's like, I don't know if I can trust you.
It's not just me.
But I was a bit curious because of the name of the guild being Ginkgo. I was like, oh, is that a new Pokemon that we're gonna be introduced to? And like I said, I haven't finished the game, so I don't know. But
I don't know either, and I finished the game.
Definitely, like, especially because of the emblem that they have, like, on their uniform, or that he specifically has. I was like, ooh, is that a new Pokemon? Could it be a Noble?
When you get to the kind of like near, like, I guess, like the final act, we'll know what I'm talking about because I brought this up on my stream, is you'll see something and you'll recognize half of the things there, but you won't recognize the other half, and that's what made me question, like, what you're bringing up right now. Like, it makes me think like we might get DLC for this game just because of the fact of there's without spoiling it too much for you, there's things that show up and you're just like, what is that? Like, that is nothing I know.
Yeah, I found something the other day in Obsidian Fields. There's like a drawing on a rock.
Yeah, there's some like cave paintings in certain parts.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Like, the only thing I could make out was the 3 lake spirits. The other stuff I couldn't make out.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool discovery. Like, I went up to it thinking like, oh, investigate, but nothing happened. So I was kind of disappointed. But then I found a flying Gyarados, and I was confused. And I was like, wait, why is Gyarados flying? And then I remembered it's a flying type, and then I caught it. So that was a good day for me.
Oh wow, you caught it! Nice.
Yeah, I caught it with the fly ball, with the wing ball. I had to time it, so it was a bit of a trial and error. But after I timed it, like, it escaped 3 times, but I kept throwing the ball immediately, and eventually I caught it. So that was a moral victory for me.
So I'm not trying to like jump too far ahead, but like this is something like I will say about this game. Like I keep hearing this and seeing people tweet about it or like talk about it. This is I think the Pokemon Company like really nailed this correctly. This is the first game I think in a long time, like where people were like super excited to go catch anything, like a Bidoof. You see the Gyarados, like you know you go on your way to get that Gyarados. Like you could just go catch a Magikarp realistically and level it up, and it might be about the same speed, right? Depending on what level you get the Magikarp at, because there's like some 30s in here.
Yeah.
Like it's uh, the way they have done the catching mechanics and just like the general gameplay loop, like it makes you really want to finish the Pokédex. It makes you want to go out and like as we're like we've experienced now, like as we're going through the game, like we get distracted, like, oh well, I'm gonna go do the Cleaver mission, but on my way there's an Alphabet Barrel. I really want that Alphabet Barrel. And then you catch the Alphabet Barrel and you get excited about that. Like I think the Pokemon Company has nailed what the general like day-to-day gameplay of a Pokemon game should be, and especially going forward.
Yeah.
Like keep competitive, like as it is, like standard VGC stuff, right? But like the going out and experiencing the Pokemon world, like I think they nailed it like on the head, like completely with how the gameplay loop of this game.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like you catch an alpha and then it respawns. And even though I have one, I'm like, oh, I need to get another one. I don't know why, but I just need to catch another one. So that's really cool because like I didn't expect them to respawn. I thought they were just gonna be like, okay, there's just one for each location. So when I caught my Alpha Floatzel, I was like, oh, okay, I caught it. Victory. And then the next day I went back and it was there again. I was like, oh my god, it respawned. I was like, I need to catch it. I was like, wait, do I really need to catch it? I need to play the story. Do I really need this? Like maybe it might be a female. I have a male. I might need a female. So, any excuse to catch is a good reason enough for me to keep catching and forgetting about the story.
For me, it really does come down to the Pokédex, because there are even missions in there that say how many alphas you've caught, and you get a bonus from the professor if you do catch it. So what I think it does great is giving you a chance to go back and continue to interact with this Pokemon, rather than what most Pokemon games do, which is like you get it once and that's it, unless it has a different form or different evolution or something. But this one, it's great because I have my shiny Riolu and I do want to evolve it, but I want to complete all these missions with it. Like, see Riolu use Rock Smash 10 times, for example. And doing things like that, which are limited to the evolution form or the evolutionary stage that it's at, are things that make the limited Pokédex of this game feel so much more juicy than it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of explaining that too, because like, I mean, kind of like you were just saying, like, this is the first game where like, go to recatch like a Shellos for the 200th time, right? But you're excited because you check off that thing in the Pokédex saying like caught 40 Shellos or something, or battled 40 Shellos. Again, this is another thing. Like, I hope they continue this type of Pokédex evolution, which is weird because we're building the first Pokédex, but it's like an evolution from what we just been trained for 25 years of Pokemon, where you catch the Pokemon, you get the Dex entry, congratulations, move on. Like, you actually like build connections with your Pokemon, which is like I like it because like I have like a Swinub I've been working on for his Pokédex entry, right? And I wouldn't care about Swinub. Like,
Excuse
it's a Swinub.
Excuse you?
He's a good Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, but I'm always gonna go for Mamoswine.
No. We do not speak about that abomination, Mamoswine.
Oh
Do you
no.
like Piloswine, Manny?
Of course.
What?
Listen, you do not add paint to a masterpiece, okay? Piloswine was perfect. They didn't need to add Mamoswine. I don't know what that thing is, but that ain't no Pokemon.
I mean, digital. Okay.
I skipped
okay.
that evolution.
Speaking
I
of
can't usually.
Digimon, okay.
I know you're gonna go with this.
Oh no.
The evolution.
That's-
how amazing is the evolution sequence?
I love it.
Mm.
As someone
Man.
who actually is a big Digimon fan too, like it is very like kind of Digimon-esque,
Yes,
but it feels so good.
it's so
like
good.
it's my favorite
Oh
one.
my god, I think my favorite, I mean, as of right now, is Umbreon's evolution because the rings on
Mhm.
its ears glow with its eyes.
Mm.
It just
Are you
looks-
serious?
Oh, yes, it looks. Oh, my god.
god.
I kid you not. I was not expecting like I was just expecting like the eyes to just glow, but its rings glow when it's evolving, and you just see it like all blacked out with its yellow rings and its yellow eyes. I was like, oh my god, this is like the best moment I'm witnessing right now. It's so cool.
I need to see this. I haven't got an Umbreon yet, so like, and I have plenty of Eevees. I need to evolve one, like right now.
I think the part that I wish was just tweaked a little bit is the very ending of the evolution. Because it's so dramatic, and then you get to this very bright, colorful screen. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, I wish it were like more darkly lit and more shadows or something to kind of match the ambiance of the smoke swirling around this Pokemon in silhouette.
Not to mention the music at the end. Like he goes through like this intense
Oh,
like
Drum beat.
music,
Yeah.
and it's like da 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 da. And it's like
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But in terms of the backgrounds, I don't mind because being a Digimon fan, they kind of come up with colorful backgrounds, so I'm kind of used to that. But just the whole like body discontortion that you see when it's evolving, it's just like, nothing I expected them to do, and it's done like amazingly well.
It is.
Kind of the opposite of what you see in some of the newer anime, except for the eyes. So I don't know if they took inspiration for that and just made the rest silhouette form. But I've definitely seen some of those sequences in the show where they transform and like their body's glowing blue, but then their eyes are like red or something.
Yeah.
And speaking of the anime, there is actually a part in here where I was screaming out loud because it was a direct reference to like, of course, Diamond and Pearl proper, but a big moment in the show itself, which has to do with one of Cynthia's quotes.
Oh.
And I think I tweeted about this, so let me look it up. But Manny, did you catch this?
Probably not.
Okay, no worries. It's around the Ursaluna part
Oh,
where
okay,
you
yeah.
put.
Probably not. I wasn't like focused on that dialogue, so I was just like, I need to see Ursaluna. I'm like, come on. Get me to
Fair,
Ursaluna.
fair. This is what Kalaba reads to you when she puts the stone tablet back together.
Okay, I know what it is then. Yeah, because I felt proud of myself for reading it in the unknown text.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. And then she reads it immediately after. I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I read it in the unknown. Okay. So, take that.
I was authentic. Excuse you. The quote is, "All lives touch our lives to create something new and alive." And the quote that we get from Cynthia when she reads an ancient text basically is, "When one life meets another life, something will be born." So I was like, oh, nice. They were like, did a really great job there of kind of tying those three elements together. And that's a quote that's just used prominently throughout Diamond and Pearl, so just thought I'd bring that up there. Was there anything else kind of tied to future games, or like even Sinnoh, like modern day Sinnoh itself, that stood out to you guys?
I think just the
Oh,
name of the Solaceon ruins, because we know that's Solaceon town.
Right.
there's also music cues in certain
Yeah.
places. If you if you're in different places throughout the map, right? It'll actually play music from Diamond and Pearl or BDSP, either one. But like it'll play those like music like where that town or that route or whatever is supposed to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very neat little like subtle detail. Like most people wouldn't pick it up. Like they'd just be like, oh, you're just traveling through the game.
Mm-hmm.
Music starts playing. Like, oh, that's cool, good music. And then, but if you've played Gen 4 in a lot in any way, like you'll pick up those music notes. You're like, why does that sound familiar? And then you think about it. You look at the map, and you're like, oh, I'm on Route 4 or whatever.
Yeah. And to me, it's also stood out even more because the Diamond and Pearl OST released this week officially.
Right?
So like, oh, I'm putting it all together. And even just Jubilife Village itself has a great rendition of modern day Jubilife City.
Mm-hmm.
And Manny, did you have something?
Well, I don't know if I've paid attention to music. Sometimes it's like there's no music for me whatsoever. But then the main title song comes on, and I just feel like majestic, like crouching in the grass. I'm like, yeah, keep playing OST. You get me in the mood. But I think, yeah, because I'm just so enthralled with catching Pokemon that I'm not really paying attention to the music.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's very subtle in that way, which is kind of nice.
Why don't we talk about Hisuian Forms? Because I would like to know if you guys have a favorite, or at least a few favorites.
I could. Will knows my favorite now. And this is like for me, like I think like I might have been slightly influenced because it's my shiny, but I have a shiny Zoroark, the Hisuian Zoroark. The Zora and Zoroark line, like I think they did phenomenal in those designs.
Yeah,
like they're just so good looking. But so one that stands out that most people might not like that I like, and it's only because I really like the Pokemon like its original form, Gudra.
Oh, I actually was mention that one.
I like Hisuian Gudra.
I'm still on the fence about it.
Hold on.
I'm happy. I'm happy that the Gumi line is in this game because Gumi is one of my favorite dragon types.
It is.
But I saw that Alpha Sliggoo and I was like, wait a minute, what did they do to my precious slug? What is this?
Yeah.
And then the Gudra just looks so depressed. I'm like, wait, why is everything in Hisui depressing? But I feel like it'll grow on me. I think it will. But for me, I think when Basket Legion was first introduced, I fell in love with the design. And I was like, man, that's a design that I need to see in the anime. And semi-spoilers for those who have Prime in Japan. They showed Basket Legion in the anime and it looks amazing.
Nice.
I have seen Hisui and Sneasel, and I think that design is amazing too. And the color scheme, I like the color scheme. I was very impressed by Hisui and Lilligant as well. It wasn't what I was expecting it to look like, but it has a very cool design.
That one grew on me.
I think Lilligant is the one that I added to my party and kind of slowly replaced Decidueye with as I caught it from its time as a noble. I caught it an alpha Petlil and then evolved it. And I already liked base Lilligant, but seeing this one with a new typing and a more dynamic style, I guess. Like, it looks like it can dance and run and do stuff that Old Lilligant couldn't. Like, Old Lilligant was just waddling everywhere, but this one can like run and hit you and all that stuff, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
and I loved
I th-
the the battle, that noble battle. I think out of the
yeah,
only two that I've done, that was definitely my favorite.
I
It
thought that
was
was the most fun. Also,
Yeah, it was
it was really
cool.
fun. They really gave her like a Tinkerbell vibe, and I actually
Yeah.
was like,
Mhm.
I was very on board with it. Like I was like, I'm really digging what
Yeah.
the vibe they're giving with her.
It was really cool.
right? Like you could kind of feel the personality of it, like
Uh-huh.
almost playfully sadistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was really cool because like at first I was kind of like struggling, like, oh, okay, I need to find a pattern. And then once you get the pattern, like I was very entertained with it. Like, oh, okay, here it comes. Like, oh, all right, I did it. I rolled successfully, and it does like this one green ring, where instead of rolling away from it, you roll into it. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like I didn't get damaged. Like I thought I would probably get damaged if I went into the ring. But yeah, definitely as of right now, out of the first two noble battles, that's probably my favorite. And I was a bit surprised because I assumed that we would be able to catch those nobles. So I was like, oh, okay, why not? So it's kind of cool as well because those are the guardians of each respective clan. So it's really cool that they gave us that reasoning as to why you're not gonna catch it, but you're just helping it out. And the reason you can't catch it is because those clans depend on those Pokemon.
I was
gonna disrupt nature that much.
Yeah.
No, not this time. I was in agreement though. I actually thought we were gonna catch them from like my first impressions of the game, but no, I agree why we did it like we did it. Like it makes sense like story wise, like completely.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to find out like what those plates are because they tell you like a certain Pokemon uses it. Changes its typing. I was like, wait, is type null in this game? But now I'm like, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to, like, to figuring out what those plates are for.
Oh, why type null?
Because you know how like Selvala uses the discs to change its typing?
Right.
So when you get the plates, it says if you give it to a certain Pokemon, I think it says it can use like specific moves of the plates. So that's why I thought it was Selvala.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe I could see them being like the proto discs or something.
Yeah.
And like later on they inspire those discs to be created, which would be interesting.
Isn't it Arceus's plates?
Yes, they are Arceus's plates.
I was like,
I thought
maybe...
like I was thinking more just like ancient times. It would make sense.
I've never played.
We don't have it.
I've never played Gen 4, so I wouldn't know. That was
that
was just me theorizing. But what
have
about
you seen the
Will?
movie?
No.
You were onto something.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen the movie yet either. But what about you? You haven't told us like your favorite Will. Hisuian Forms.
Oh yeah, I think Lilligant. It's either between Lilligant or Braviary for me, and like, it kind of made me regret picking Rowlet a little bit because I had another grass fighting type then at that point. But the acrobatic feel of Lilligant I thought was really cool. So that's why I had that on the team for pretty much most of the, like, as soon as I got an Alpha Petlil. And then I also added Rufflet later on. I just want to see more of them in battle with like abilities and held items to really feel out their potential, because this got me excited for them, but I think giving them more time to shine in a different context will be really cool to see. But also, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, speaking of that, do you think they're gonna add that stuff to either, I'm gonna say, Sword or Shield or BDSP, because of the fact, like, I don't it's hard for me to pick like which one they could add these Pokemon into, like into a like another main series game right now, or if we're gonna literally wait until Gen 9 plus to get these into another game.
Yeah, it does make me wonder because eventually they're gonna get that home integration
Right.
for Legends Arceus. So yeah, I would definitely like to use Hisuian Forms in current games as well.
My prediction is that they won't come to BDSP, and there's a slight chance they'll come to Sword and Shield.
I could see Sword and Shield just because they're keeping competitive there still for a while longer. Like I can definitely see Sword and Shield getting it.
Yeah, but I find that a little tragic because they can't come to their own future region. They don't go to BDSP, but it was also made by a different company, and I think they don't want to really attempt to put more content in there already, since they're trying to pivot most of their competitive, or all their competitive actually, into Sword and Shield.
And I think it's not that they don't. It's not that I don't think the Pokemon Company doesn't like BDSP, but I think they're like their entire focus now is like Legends, and especially after the response from Legends, like I could see them being like, BDSP was like that was a side thing. That happened.
Well, it literally was. They were like, let's give someone else the chance to make this. But yeah, I'm very excited, and at this point in time, we haven't had Pokemon Day for this month or this year, so we could find out what's going to happen with these forms in just a few weeks from now.
Hopefully DLC for Arceus as well.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we get. I hope we get DLC and a Gen 9 announcement. I want both. Like, I'm not trying to be greedy, but like it's for somebody like who does like competitive Pokemon, like it needs to move out of Sword and Shield. Like Sword and Shield's a great game, don't get me wrong, but we're at the end point of Sword and Shield. Like we need to kind of move on from that. But like I want more Legends. So like I'd be fine actually if they just gave us more Legends for the next year.
I think it'd be great to see what they can do with either more Pokemon, more diverse quests, and maybe more of a battle goal or challenge would be nice.
So you guys can answer this. Like, I don't mind if this is a spoiler or not, but with the fact that we get Darkrai with game save data, is Cresselia in this game?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. 'Cause if it wasn't, I was gonna say it would be cool if like they added a mission to go find Cresselia.
All the legendaries that you can get in the original Sinnoh games are in this, as far as I can tell.
Well, minus like the original, like the Kanto birds, like those aren't in the game.
Right. I mean the ones that are native to the region.
Yeah, like the native ones, of course. But like the Kanto birds and stuff like that, no, those are definitely not.
Hisuian bird trio. The next DLC, write it down.
Well, Manny, for Cresselia, that was a Pokemon that you can get in the original Gen 4 games without any event.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I was just asking because, like, in terms of like the current anime journey, they kind of tied Darkrai and Cresselia together. So I was just curious if like the games did that as well.
Yeah, it is weird that in the original games they made Darkrai a special event, but Cresselia is just in the base game because they do have that connection.
You would think they would have made Darkrai kind of more readily available in those games, which is another reason why like I'm hoping we do get more BDSP content, because like I mean through glitches you can get it now, but like there's still Shaman and Darkrai and and those events that are coded into BDSP that are not available technically
Right.
Yeah.
and hopefully this isn't Diamond and Pearl 2.0 again, where we literally just maybe don't get the event.
Yeah. Like, you can even go get Giratina, I'm pretty sure, in BDSP.
Oh yeah, Giratina is in the same place he is in Diamond and Pearl, and the
Turnback Cave?
Turnback Cave. I was just saying Wayback Cave, but yeah, Turnback Cave, Wayback Cave.
Wayward, yeah, there's a Wayward Cave where you get Gibble, but yeah, that's a lot of this game. It's like, oh my god, I'm at Lake Verity, I'm at Mount Coronet, I'm at Spear Pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I only know those locations through the anime, when I got to Lake Verity, I was like, oh, I'm here. Like, whoa. I was like, oh, that's crazy. So
Yeah, there's like...
That was pretty cool, like, the fact that, like, kind of marked out for that. I was like, whoa.
Is there a Twin Leaf Town area? I've seen Sandgem, but not Twin Leaf. There's even, like, Ramana's Island, which I was like, oh, okay. Someone liked the remakes.
Is it Romana's Island?
Yeah. It's in the very first area, actually.
Is it really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the thing I noticed. You can miss a lot if you don't look at the map. And I wish there was a mini map, because that would be so useful, first of all, but would also really let me focus on the details of where I'm at and appreciate the geography and the naming of everything in this world. Yeah. That's one of my smaller complaints about this game.
Yeah, a mini map in the like bottom corner or something, or top right corner would be it'd go a long way.
Yeah, one thing that like really excited me was like I wasn't expecting it to be as open as it is. Like the first time that I went into Obsidian Fields, I was like, okay, eventually I'm gonna go into like an invisible wall and I'm not gonna be able to go anymore. But I just kept going and going. I was like, wait, am I gonna get lost from where I need to be? I kept going. I was like, oh man, like this is so cool. And like I ran into like an alpha Luxio. I was like, oh no, I probably should get out of here. Then I went in the other direction and I kept going and I kept going and I found the Mime Juniors running around. I was like, wait a minute, like there's more stuff over here. Like every day is like finding new locations that I didn't bother to look for in the map, and just like walking.
It doesn't stop, by the way.
Yeah,
I still find places. I still find like spawns like I didn't know. I was like, whoa, there's a Zora in this one, in this den. What?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Like today, I found 2 turtwigs and I caught them. I was like, oh, I didn't know this area was accessible, and I didn't know there was a turtwig here. So now I'm like in Will's predicament, where it's like I love Rowlet, but I kind of want Turtwig on my team. Like,
I have Torterra. I feel you.
Yeah, do I keep my owl child or should I bring in my turtle child? But I have Monferno as well, but I'm like waiting till I get Hisui and Growlithe, and I'm like, okay, so do I kick out Monferno or do I keep Monferno and kind of play with Growlithe a bit later? So it's just it's really like fascinating, like discovering Pokemon. Like today I discovered I found, well, because I was going to the second Snowball, I saw the Murkrows and I was like, oh cool, like there's Murkrows, and those little guys are pesky. Like 4 of them somehow magically saw me and they came at me, and then from like a distance the Alpha Honchkrow also saw me and I'm like, no wait, like go away. So I was surrounded by like 5 Murkrow and the Alpha Honchkrow. I was like, no, I'm gonna run away right now.
I was expecting a character to have a Honchkrow, but I don't think they did.
None to my knowledge, unless it's a post-game character that we haven't encountered yet.
Right.
I don't remember any.
It would have been cool to see somebody like in a zoot suit with its Honchkrow.
I'm not gonna lie, the first Leon, right? The clay ancestor.
Oh yeah.
He threw me off having the Gumi. Like
yeah.
I don't know why. Like when we battled him, like when he threw out Gumi, I was expecting another bug type or some sort, like kind of like that bug type character. And he threw out Gumi, and I was like, what? What? Like, why are you throwing out a Gumi? I mean, I'm not complaining, but like that kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, like Kalos Pokemon from a Unova counterpart, and not even like a typing thing.
Yeah,
There's no typing comparison to Clay.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder, like, eventually once it becomes Sinnoh, like, what happened to those, like, Kalos Pokemon and the, like, the Unova Pokemon or the Johto Pokemon that we see? Or is it just, like, more, kind of like how in the anime it's more open, that there's, like, lots of Pokemon in the regions, and now that, like, this is the norm, so there's always been those type of Pokemon. It's just like when the games were introduced earlier, it was just those specific, like, Sinnoh Pokemon.
Black and White too has ruined me with that, just because like when you play through Black and White and you're just with the Unova Pokemon and you play Black and White too, they're like, oh yeah, Rielu's been here the entire time, and so is Pikachu and all these other Pokemon. You're like, who are these Pokemon? Yeah, Mareep. Like, it's like, okay. I mean, I guess.
So that brings another theory, which I think Greg has brought up, is that this is a world that's actually morphed from the original one, or that we're actually just in a different universe, that we didn't move time throughout the timeline. We moved horizontally to another place.
Oh god, now we have would this make the third time Pokemon has shifted universes?
Like fourth, maybe?
Yeah, we have the OG, right, which is the non anything timeline. And then we have the which goes through like Gen 3 or Gen 4. No, Gen 4 is when it stops, I think. Or no, Gen 5, sorry. It goes through like Gen 5, and then we get the Mega timeline, and then we get the like Z Mega timeline. And then we get the Dynamax timeline, where Megas don't exist, but they exist in the anime. Which I'm like, okay, hold on now. Why is Ash getting spoilers for the anime? I guess. Why is Ash getting Mega Lucario?
He got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Literally, he got the Infinity Gauntlet.
He has the Infinity Gauntlet.
But I can see this being like a time, like another universe, or like a time hop thing. But it's like, is there multiple Arceuses then, or is this like one all-seeing Arceus that's all over all Poke universes, and he's just like picking up kids left and right? It's like, all right, you can go to the non-Mega timeline, you can go to the Z timeline, you can go to the timeline where Pokeballs are wooden.
Since you brought up Z, can you imagine a game based on the Tapus?
I would lose my mind.
That would be
I'd
so
be
cool.
so excited.
Now that you just like mentioned Z, like, oh man, I would love to like find out the origins of the Tapus.
Oh, Alola holds a very, very special place for me in Pokemon. So like I would, oh my god, I would, I have put between all 4 of the Alola games, I have well over 1,000 hours in each game, if not 2,000.
Whoa.
It's bad. it's really,
we got an
really
Alola
bad.
addict here.
I love Alola.
That's crazy, man. Dedication. You gotta like dedication. That's cool. I respect that.
But hey, there's a reason why I like the Beast Ball.
Yeah, the Beast Ball's one of the best designs I've seen.
I do wonder what other region would be good for this.
Everyone keeps bringing up Unova.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Everyone brings up Unova.
Yeah.
Unova...
The original dragon is what everyone keeps bringing up for Unova, is like to go back in time to see what's his face? I forget his name. I know Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kiram. So yeah, see original Kiram. Before the split. So before you get
Mm.
Black Kiram and White Kiram, like just see like super mega beefed out Digimon Ultimate Mega Evolution Kiram, like this insane Kiram.
You see, I know you just want this because you like Alola, which means you like Ultra Necrozma.
Yeah.
I do like Unova because we have that whole lore behind Team Plasma's ancient origins. Like they have all that dress going on and attire from ancient times. But I don't know. I don't know how they like. There's just something there that I think would be harder to like. It would change the identity, I think, a lot more of that region than it would for Sinnoh, because presumably a Legends version of Unova would also include the non-Unova Pokemon. And I think at least for what people remember of Unova, it's the original Black and White games, which were very distinctly only these 150 Pokemon of this region until post-game. So I don't know how they would reconcile that, or if it would bother them too much.
I think I agree with Manny though. I think Johto, and I think I've heard a few people bring up Johto too. I think Johto would be a really good like region to do next, or even a buddy of mine, Seventh, brought up this like making this legend. So making, because you know people compare this game a lot to Monster Hunter, right? So making an expansion, not DLC, like a full-blown expansion like they do in Monster Hunter, like Iceborne or Sunbreak, which is about to come out, where it's like instead of staying here, we go to Johto. Since Johto is, you know, has so much connections to Sinnoh, where we literally just go to Johto of this time period, and we get to experience that legends of like how the legendary like the legendary beasts, legendary dogs, cats, whatever you want to call them, before they got burned and transformed. Getting more stuff about like the two towers in those games, and I could see Johto being a really good selling point. And even if they wanted to make an expansion for this and really like carry out the legend story for a long time.
Yeah, I will say though, I think they would need to combine Johto and Kanto.
Oh god.
No, Will. We already said no Hisuian Charizard, Will. Come on.
Mostly because those regions actually feel very small and they're so connected. It would feel weird if you're like, no, we're just gonna not talk about ancient Kanto, even though they clearly are right there.
Like walking distance from each other.
Yeah. But I think it would be nice to give those two regions a second chance and just flesh them out. Like, don't repeat a lot of the same mistakes in terms of Pokemon placement and spawns that even the remakes had. And just making it feel more dynamic in the way that Hisui does here.
With Kanto, I think Kanto, they're limited more with Kanto, right? One, I think people would probably lose their mind because it'd be our fourth
Yeah.
trip to Kanto. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, you know, I didn't wonder like just where I started, but like it's just like besides Mew, I don't know what else they could do in Kanto.
That's true, because like here in the post game we do discover a lot of legendary lore, and both of those two original regions have very few compared to what we see in Sinnoh.
Mhm.
So Sinnoh's the most fleshed out, I think, when it comes to legends and lore and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so many legends and, like, of course, like time and space and the god of all Pokemon and the universe.
Mhm.
And not to mention, like, you got the lore with like Heatran and Cresselia and Darkrai, Manaphy, Fion, like Sinnoh. They went all out back in the day with like,
Yeah.
here's a ton of legends and a ton of lore about them, and we're going to give you breadcrumbs. Have fun.
Yeah.
And like I think with Johto, they do that for some parts, like Ecruteak City, but there aren't a lot of other locations where the past is necessarily as like hinted at or as subtly exposed to you. So I'm curious how that would work. Did you guys have any ideas for other places in Johto that might be good for them to be like, hey, how's this in the past look like?
They could tie in Lugia and Ho-Oh pretty well, I think, with it. They could do like the kind of not rehash the same story like Diamond and Pearl Clan, Gold and Silver Clan, but they could, I think, really, I think, go deep into more Lugia lore, because like Ho-Oh, I think is more fleshed out in both Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Like I think Ho-Oh has always been more fleshed out as in like lore, but Lugia is more tied to the anime, and actually the creator of Lugia created him only for the anime, for that movie. Like he wasn't supposed to be like a main character box art legend for a game, but the Pokemon Company made him that way. So that's why like Lugia in those games and Gen 2 games, or Johto games in general, Lugia doesn't. There's a reason why that's why he doesn't have like a ton of lore behind him in those games. Like he's just kind of like this legend that's in a cave. Whereas Ho-Oh is like this whole big thing. Like he has a city based around him. He has the tower.
Yeah.
Like Ho-Oh, he has the Kimono Girls. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff tied to Ho-Oh. The legendary beasts are tied to Ho-Oh. Lugia, besides the anime movie, is just if you count that, then yeah, the legendary Kanto birds. But technically in the games, he's not connected to them at all.
Lugia has a cave underwater, and that's it.
That's all he gets.
Before we go too long here, and I do want to make sure we answer some of the questions in chat, what are your guys' thoughts on shiny hunting in this game? And what's your experience in the past versus this one? Mannie, you want to start?
I've never been a shiny hunter. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, I need to do it. Maybe because I didn't know what shinies were, because the anime tricked me into thinking shiny Noctowl was a regular Noctowl.
Yes!
So when I found out about shinies, I was like, oh man, like that's cool. Like it would be cool to run into like a shiny. It was never something that I would like constantly want to pursue. Just because it just never caught my attention. But like I think the more and more that I started seeing like the variant colors and the fact that like, you know, Pogo is generous with shinies as well, it kind of gave me that itch where it's like, okay, like I kind of want to try what shiny hunting is all about. And then seeing, you know, like some of my favorite Pokemon and seeing like their alternate colors and liking them, like Noibat's shiny I love. And so it kind of gives me that push, like yeah, like let's try this. And so when I kind of found out that like, hey, like there's probably a method to this in this game about, you know, shiny hunting that seems kind of easy for me because I'm like a very impatient person. So I get bored when it comes to like the knocking out method or like the catching method over and over again, and kind of like how like the mass outbreak gives you more than just one. It's definitely been something that I'm excited to do. So this will probably be like the first game where I officially do try shiny hunting. But as of right now, there has been no luck on my side, except for the game being generous with a certain side mission. So other than that, no shiny yet, but I'm definitely excited like to give it a try.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm in the same boat there. I have done some light shiny hunting in BDSP with honey trees actually, and then I was just looking for a hidden ability Eevee, but I instead got 2 zero chain shiny patches with Roselia and Staravia, which was like, okay, well, I'll take it.
That was
And
amazing, by the way.
thanks. Yeah, I was also just like, oh, okay. This turns around my plan on doing a ribbon quest then, which is awesome. And now I'm looking for shiny male Burmy to get Mothim, but I might actually just look out for a Mothim outbreak here if that is possible, because I'd also love to catch it in the feather ball to match that blue hue together.
That'd be a really good combination.
Yeah, I was like, this would be amazing. So
Are you
I'll look out for that.
Are you gonna get a matching outfit like with your Riolu?
Probably, yeah. I think I could do that. I'll take a look at what's available in the shop. But again, yeah, I feel like because of what this game does to reward you for interacting with Pokemon more than once, shiny hunting feels a lot more incentivized and rewarding here. Because even if you don't get that, you still fill out more of the Pokédex. You still get more money from catching and gain more points towards your next star, which I think does a great job of combining all those elements. Because I think that's kind of the point of outbreaks, really. Like, like sure, you can reset for shinies, but they also give you the chance of getting more Pokédex entries as well.
It's the best. So, for someone who has done more shiny hunting than I probably should ever admit in my life, this is the best hunting method in all of the series, in my opinion. Like it's I will say like it's like the way I've been looking at it, like outbreaks are kind of like you get to choose your community day in Pogo any time of the day you want, essentially. For the most part, like it's still random, like it's up to RNG which one you get, but like it feels so rewarding to go out to these outbreaks, and like you were just saying, like even if you don't get the shiny, like it's still so rewarding to go just out to these outbreaks, catch the Pokemon, get the dex entries and stuff like that. If you don't get the shiny, you still get something out of it. And shiny hunting in this game is, I will say, easier, but also not, because it also depends on like throwing the Pokeballs correctly and not having the thing run away. But it's so good. Like I already have, like yesterday I got 5 shinies, which is just nuts.
Humble brag. Hashtag humble brag.
This is slight humble brag. But like it's like every one of them felt super rewarding. Like compared to someone who has had most of my shinies come from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and the Sun and Moon games. But it just feels so much better. Like I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. Like I don't want to talk about how long I spent soft resetting for Shiny Rayquaza in Gen 3. That was about 9 months of my time. Off and on. Like not like, 8+ hours a day, but like it was a long time. I don't know. It's really good. It feels so good in this game. I agree completely
Yeah.
with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also like, as I mentioned before, having balls that match Pokemon and having incentive to get new forms that you can't get in other games gives me more motivation to like, okay, let's find this Pokemon and catch it in the ball that only exists in this game. So that's my mission there as well with the wing ball, feather ball, and the heavy ball variations. Which honestly, okay, my prediction there is that when we move those over, they're just gonna go to default heavy balls in other games.
I don't know, because think about it, like they carried over the Beast Ball. And I'm only bring that up just because like it's only been in 2 gens so
Mhm.
far. But they even in BDSP it's in the code for like if you bring a Pokemon in a Beast Ball from home to BDSP, it's in that code. So I could see them actually carrying. So here's my thought with that is they're gonna bring it over, but like you know there's 3 variations like the wing, the
Mhm.
jet, and the feather. Yeah, those balls. It's just gonna be one ball. It's not gonna be each 3 variations of that ball. It's just gonna be like one of those balls. It's that's my prediction, but I could be wrong. They could just bring over all of them.
Yeah, I think they would make all the 3 heavy balls one, just because they aren't too distinct from each other,
Mm-mm.
and we do have a heavy ball already in all the other games. But I'm hoping Feather and Wing Ball carry over as separate ones because they do seem kind of distinct from each other. But yeah, just because Heavy Ball already existed and they're like, like it's like it very much says it's just an improvement and at least visually doesn't look too different. I could see them doing that. But I would be thrilled if they actually keep all of them and let you preserve your Pokemon in those balls when you transfer them.
It'd be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Manny, are you looking to shiny hunt something specific in this game?
Probably Eevee, just to get a shiny Umbreon.
Mm-hmm. Shiny Umbreon in the Feather Ball.
Yeah. There's probably a lot, I will say, because just again, there's a lot of like altering color patterns. I would probably go also for like a Turtwig. Maybe all 3 of the original Sinnoh starters. Shiny Gumi.
Very interesting, Manny. As someone who's never played one of the Sinnoh games.
You know, watching the anime has given me an appreciation for those Pokemon.
Okay.
That like when it came to like the Chimchar side quest, I was so excited to see the Chimchar. I was like, oh, it's Chimchar. And I kid you not, I jumped when I found the area that had the 2 Turtwigs.
Nice.
Zorua has a beautiful shiny. So
it's such a good shiny.
Yeah, I definitely would love to get those. I would love to get a shiny Alpha Heracross. Just to flex.
Oh,
you gotta flex with shiny alphas. That's how you know you're a true
true in
Pokemon
game
master. Yeah. It's like, nah, I don't just have a shiny. I have a shiny alpha. And what?
So you did bring up quests, and I think this brings us to one of the questions I saw in chat from Skytramper, who asks, how would they do a new Pokemon game set in the present day, but like Legends? And one of the things that I would like, as I mentioned before, in terms of shiny hunting and outbreaks, is for there to be more quests like this game has.
Yeah, I think the formula that is already in this game would translate well. The only thing I would change is smaller, like Pokédex missions, just so that it doesn't feel like a hassle for a main game, but still just enough that like, okay, we do have a Dex entry, but just because we're introduced to a new region, Like it helps us kind of learn more about, like, when, let's say Gen 9 does come out. It would be cool if, like, okay, catch multiple of these so you can learn more about them and figure out like their dex entry instead of just the dex entry just being there. So it would add, I think, more, not only more appreciation to the Pokemon, but to also like filling out its dex as well.
Totally. Yeah. I was also going to say that if we do see this formula returned in another game, it would make sense for them to have smaller Pokédex entries because presumably there would be more Pokemon present as well.
Yeah.
But I would like it to be explained still in a very acceptable or believable way, the same way that this game does, which is like, you're in the past, so everything that you do here is new and has an impact, rather than pretty much every other game where like there's society built and everything is commercialized or urbanized enough for you to not have to worry about being killed by a wild starly. So I think they could do that if you do go to a region that's completely unexplored or majority wild and wilderness.
Where do you think the next gen would be? Speaking of that,
Let's go to Mexico.
I'd love to see. I was gonna say somewhere south of the equator. Mexico's close, so it's closer than Unova at least.
Can you
but
just imagine like a region based on like Aztec mythology?
it'd be amazing.
That would be
That'd
so
be an
cool.
amazing region.
Like Quetzalcoatl and all that. That would be awesome.
I would also mind. So my theory is it's gonna be based out of like India for the next one, because of oh my lord, that Pokemon, the elephant.
Caparaja.
Caparaja. I have slight hints that maybe we could go to India or an Egyptian theme. I could see either one of those being like a big sway for the next gen.
Yeah, it would make sense because, like, if you believe like that fan theory that the fire starters are the animals of the zodiac, like India would be, the next fire starter would be a snake, or if it would be, like for me, Mexico, the next fire starter would be a bull. So yeah, that would be cool.
The
Any of
bull would
those
be
two.
amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Australia, actually.
Oh, good on you, mate.
I mean, Australia is already trying to kill you IRL, so
That's true.
they wouldn't have to do too much work with kind of translating the Legends danger.
It would
over.
be full of,
Alpha
it would be full of-
Ariados.
Oh my god.
Mm.
It would be full of Ekans and Vipers.
Alpha
Like-
Crocodile.
Oh, a Tasmanian devil
That would
legendary.
be cool. That would be cool.
That I'd be down.
A
Especially-
kangaroo as a mythical.
Ooh.
And then we get an evolution for the koala Pokemon. I keep forgetting its name.
Hey, we might finally get our dolphin Pokemon.
That's
Hey, we
true.
might get another form of Oricorio.
Or Charizard.
No!
Can you imagine? Good eye, mate. I'm Charizard.
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 I love it.
Oh, it's really nice to meet you. I'm very excited that you're here. We're going to work really hard.
We need... No, what we need is a new form for Zangoose and Seviper.
Oh my god.
And they actually like each other.
I would love that.
Like, those Pokemon are surprisingly overlooked for how good their designs are.
Yeah, Zangos is cool. And so is it shiny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is a great shiny.
Other
Imagine
things.
Pokemon Legends Zangoose.
Ooh. Hisuian, quote unquote, a different regional variant of Zangoose.
Yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't
I'd
mind
be down
that.
for that.
And I still feel a little torn about this, but what do you guys think about them making such a big deal of naming this place Hisui versus Sinnoh?
They explained it, I think, pretty decently well as to
Yeah.
why.
I-
Especially the clans, like the clans and their idea that like their respective, legend
Mhm.
is Almighty Sinnoh. But it's kind of interesting because it means they just named Hisui later on their version of God, which is an interesting take on what's the name of your land, I guess.
It's weird that they changed it, but is the thing that bothers me the most.
Well, I mean, I kind of like it because it kind of goes with like the two clans that are at odds finally, down
Uniting?
the line uniting and being like, hey, like
That's true.
let's
See that?
let's be under one accord and such so on and so forth and thus
Mhm.
gaining like that peace and the clans kind of like becoming one, and so the Sinnoh is born.
True, but if they're also trying to correct themselves, why not call the region Arceus? No one seems to know about Arceus here except you, Volo, and
Because my theory is that they both think that Dialga and Palkia are Sinnoh.
yes.
like, the
So
Diamond
when you
Clan-
do get to later in the game, they do explain like, oh, hey, we're both wrong. The Sinnoh is actually two different beings, so we're both right
And
in
wrong.
what they represent.
Yeah.
Well, also because Arceus is a mythical, so it's a myth. Essentially, it doesn't exist. You believe in myths.
Potentially, Sinnoh doesn't exist based on their ideology or their mythology.
Hmm.
So I don't know. You could. It's a little flimsy for me, is what I feel. But I don't know. Maybe the Legends DLC will go more in depth on what's going on there.
It's like, hey, why did you guys change it from Hisui to Sinnoh? It's like, somebody bought the rights to Hisui, so we couldn't use it.
That gives me. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, Manny, because like you'll see this tablet. I will say that much. You will know what I'm talking about. And as soon as you see it, you'll start putting like the DLC pieces potentially together, because you'll look at it and be like, okay, no, this, and this. Wait a minute. So, oh man, I don't want to spoil it too much because it is kind of a neat little thing once you see it.
Yeah,
I'll-
Go ahead.
Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
I will say, is there a reference in BDSP to Hisui at all?
The closest thing tying the two references wise is just Manaphy and Fion, but there's no mention of Hisui in it. It's just about the Seas Legends book and Canavleave Library. Is the only close enough
Okay.
reference, but it doesn't say Hisui outright, so no.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that was gonna be my thing. That would have maybe helped me accept that name change more, because they at least recognize at some point in the future, oh yeah, this place used to be called Hisui. But
Yeah, like places get renamed a lot. Like,
right.
did you know that like Atlanta used to be named Terminus?
Wait, are you being serious right now?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
I did not know that.
Yeah, its original name was Terminus. And I only
Makes
know
sense.
this. I only know this because a wrestling promotion named Terminus opened up in Atlanta, Georgia, and the owner of the promotion said that the reason it was called Terminus was because Atlanta was originally named Terminus.
Yeah. But exactly, like, there's recorded fact about that, but in the modern games, there doesn't seem to be any reference to it. So maybe that means I'll just have to watch
Well, you
the
have to
anime
wait
and
for
see how
the
they explain
BDS.
that.
You have to wait for the BDSP DLCs where they add a little like, oh, it used to be called Hisui, but now it's Sinnoh.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
Volo comes to the future, and
Oh, God. We'll see. Volo, I still think we're going to learn more about Volo because I haven't gotten to the very end of the story, and
Yeah,
oh boy.
I'm keeping my eye out for that person.
I'm still don't trust him.
Nope. Something
Guys,
about that guy.
he's totally fine. Like, he's got a Togepi, a Gibble. We know he's the ancestor of Cynthia, clearly, so he's gotta be good, right?
Hey, Cylene's the ancestor of Cyrus, and she's actually pretty awesome. So it's like,
We got a comment in chat saying that Volo broke their heart. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, are there any last thoughts from either of you about Pokemon Legends Arceus in this first week of us playing it?
I am enjoying this game. Every bit of it has not one moment have I been bored. Again, it's just like I've seen these Pokemon hundreds of times, but I'm still excited to see them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to whatever happens after. Now that I've beaten the second Noble, I'm glad that Legends was a success because I think it had like 65 million, I think, like buy rates or something like that. And I just hope that this type of game continues, whether if it's added onto like Gen 9 or if it becomes its own like anthology series. So yeah, this is definitely like one of those games where like even after finishing the story and the post game, I'll probably come back to it every day and not get bored of it.
I agree. Like it's one of those games like there's a lot of people I know that were kind of like worried about it and kind of skeptical, but like, and myself included to the extent like I was, slightly hesitant about the game. And 50 hours in now, and it's just like, I love this game. It is easily potentially my favorite Pokemon game of all time. Like it's just so good. It's just like what you were saying, Manny. Like the day-to-day, like minute-to-minute interactions in the game. Like I haven't found a moment where I'm bored or like wanting to stray away, like, oh, I'll put this down and go play something else. Like I when I'm not playing the game, I want to play the game.
Yes, right.
And
oh my god,
like it's so bad. Like you're just like, oh, like man, I gotta do work.
Like today,
play Pokemon.
Yeah, today I was leaving work and there was like a bunch of crows, and immediately I was like, oh, a mass outbreak of crows. Like if only I had my Pokeball so I could throw them at these crows. That's just how
sneaking
much like,
in the bushes.
Yeah, that's just how much like this game has been like so ingrained into my brain that like man, at work I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get home, play this game, go get my apricorns, check out on the EVs that are like in the horseshoe plane so I can catch them and finish the evolution line. Just there's always something like to look forward to in this game, and like I said, it's like, okay, at this time I'm gonna play the story, but no, like 5 hours pass by and I'm still in horseshoe plane catching Shinx, battling Shinx, farming my apricorns, and just man, this game is amazing. I love it.
It's awesome too because like I have people that like aren't like the biggest Pokemon fans, like they like Pokemon, right? They're like not like hardcore, and they're like they love the game. Like they've been wanting to just constantly play the game, and it's almost like Pokemania like 3.0 because like Go was 2.0, and this is
Mhm.
almost becoming like Pokemania 3.0. Like it's there's a reason why it's been floating between 1 and 3 spot on Twitch. Like hundreds of thousands of viewers at once in a Pokemon game. A week later, still that is not a common occurrence. Like, don't get me wrong, like Pokemon games are great, but like 100,000 views on Twitch later on, like that is not common. This
Yeah.
is so much good they did right with this game, and like I know people can like harp on some of the graphic stuff here or there, but for me, like I like graphically, I haven't been down about this game. Like like Will's mentioned, like going back to Sword and Shield, like I logged into it the other day to register for the tournament. It's like even Sword and Shield feels kind of like weird now
Mhm.
compared to this game. Like this game just it did something so well, and for Pokemon, and it's just like it's like I don't want to like rush this game because I don't like I don't want to I want to continue playing this for a long time, and I can see me coming back to play more like years down the line. But like I'm excited for like Gen 9 for uh like you were saying, like maybe like an anthology series, like they continue this into its own like spin-off thing like every other year. Like I cannot wait to see where they take this, and I hope they continue this in some way. Like I pray that this isn't a one and done.
Yeah.
That's my only concern.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I will say, like I played Mystery Dungeon, the remake, for like an hour, and ever since then I haven't picked it up. I played Pokemon Snap, and I got to like the second area at nighttime, and since then I haven't picked it up. But this game, it's just like it's addicting. Like it's like, man, I need to play it as soon as I can. And again, like sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Like I enjoyed you, but this game was just like I'm not even watching TV anymore either. Like I need to remind myself, like, oh, wrestling is on this certain day, so I need to put the game down. But yeah, what about you? Like, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, as Nox mentioned, feel so weird trying to go back to Sword and Shield after this, because I'm like, fight or flight mode when I load into the wild area and just see like Zatu flying nearby. I was like, ah, what do I do? And I think it captures a lot of what people in their heads have kind of imagined Pokemon to be after playing a game or two, watching the anime, just even playing Pokemon Go and being like, ooh, these would be really cool creatures to interact with in their natural settings. And this game actually delivers on that after 20 years of coming out. So I think accomplishing that is something that has a huge impact on everyone who has done this. But two caveats to that come to mind when I hear people say this is the best Pokemon game in 20 years, which is that I I don't think it's necessarily something that like that statement doesn't necessarily acknowledge the fact that there is a big component to battling, and Pokemon has grown into being an online competitive game as well as a story-based game. But to so many people still, the majority of what Pokemon means is that narrative and that sense of exploration. So I do get that. But also, I think if you see this game any sooner than like maybe Gen 7, it might have not been as proficient technically as it did turn out to be. And also, I don't know if it would have had the same impact, because a lot of it does feel like it's founded on the fact that we know these Pokemon and we have prior relationships with them, which are then molded by this game through the Pokédex, through alphas, through nobles, through Hisuian forms, in a way that I don't think would have apexed as well as it did with this game.
I feel like this game too, I think we mentioned this earlier in the show, like you just get attached to your Pokemon a lot more in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all stages of the Pokemon, right? So like,
Yep.
It's not just like your final stage of the Pokemon, or that your competitive Pokemon. Like I have Pokemon I'm attached to for competitive reasons because I like I use this Clefairy in a competition or something. Like I'm attached to it for that reason. But it's different with this game. So like, I have Pokemon that I'm switching in and out a lot more. Like I'm Pokemon that I'm using a lot more, and I'm gaining more and more attachments with them. So like I have two Zoraks. I have the shiny one and I have the non-shiny one, but I'm just as attached to my non-shiny one as my shiny one. And it's weird because of like in a normal Pokemon game, like I wouldn't be that way. Like and honestly, like I'll get my shiny Charizard or whatever. Yeah, you'll use that one. I'm oddly more attached to like I said, just like different Pokemon, even too like Pokemon like you wouldn't, maybe not like our fan favorites, like maybe someone's favorite, but not like a fan favorite, right? Like even those like I'm getting attached to, except for Paris. Paris can go burn, and the fields of
Obsidian?
magma, yes,
Oh.
but that thing can go somewhere.
Yeah.
But-
I've grown an appreciation for crickets at just seeing it like running
Right?
around. When it spots you, like the way he just runs around his little leg. It's just
it's so awesome. Even Cricketune, I never liked
Cricketune
Cricketune.
is cool too.
I like Cricketune in this game. This game made me like Cricketune. That says a lot.
Good. I was always a fan of Cricketune, let the record show.
Nearly wop 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 wop.
Yeah, I do appreciate that this game, I think, will make people more open to being fans to other Pokemon that they just would have left behind normally, because you get to see them and interact with them in much more meaningful ways than just catching them once for the dex and boxing them forever.
Yeah, because
But-
like in terms of like mass releasing, like I feel bad when I
I haven't done it yet,
I'm like,
actually.
yeah, I'm like, oh, but I just caught you, and we had a journey together, and you didn't see me catch you, so that gave me a bonus.
It's so sad because like you release, like you mass release, and then you feel so bad because you're just like, oh, and they give you like the grit gravel and grit dust and all that stuff, and you're just like, oh, bye buddies.
But yeah, that's I think pretty much it. Unless there's any thoughts left in chat, I think all of us would be excited to see a Legends game or a Legends format game in the future.
Legends Urshifu, because single strike is an agile style. Oh no, is strong style, and rapid strike is agile style. That's my headcanon.
It's like real fast. I won't go into like too deep, but like that's another reason why I think there could be a DLC is because of Urshifu, because he's based out of Sinnoh, supposedly. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
There we go. I also recently discovered the Mr. Mime Quest, and I hate it. So I'll leave you with that.
I haven't done that yet.
I got it, but yeah,
Oh,
I
you
got
did have a
it, but I
fun time.
haven't done it yet either.
Yeah, it's something. It's about exactly how it feels when you think about what Mr. Mime can do. But anyway, this has been another special episode of Sights on Sinnoh. Joining me again was Mannie, one of our regular co-hosts, and Noxtric. Thank you so much to both of you for being here.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. Definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a fun time. Just like the game, the time flew by, and
Mhm.
I had like an amazing. I had a great time discussing about this game with both of you.
Definitely, yeah. And if you guys want to hear all three of us discuss more, you can look out for an episode in the near future of us discussing another Sinnoh-centered Pokemon with Giratina and Shaman. Because we talk about Giratina and the Sky Warrior, the second movie from the Sinnoh era, so look out for that. But yeah, I've been Will.
Mi nombre es Manny.
And you can call me Nox.
And we will see you in Sinnoh, or say hello to us from Hisui. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.